Now here's Daniel Black.
Hello everybody, it's Daniel Black here on the Daniel Black Radio Show here on DCB Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. It really makes us proud for us to be part of your day here on the Daniel Black Radio Show. We have a lot to get to. Texas A&M, all the moves to the SEC, that's one thing we need to get to. The PGA Championship is going on. So definitely there is a lot to get to. Let's start off with the PGA Championship. Yes, the PGA Championship. This really is an exciting PGA Championship through 3 rounds. Let's take a look. The leaderboard here at the PGA Championship. Let me get the leaderboard. Okay, there are a lot of United States players here in the leaderboard. Here in the top 10, tied for first at 7 under par is Jason Dufner and Brendan Steele. Alone at 3 and third. Tied for third is Jim Furyk and Keegan Bradley at 5 under par, just 2 shots back of Dufner and Steele. Alone in 5th place at 4 under par is Steve Stricker. There are tons of players tied for 6th at 3 under par. That is Scott Verplank, Adam Scott, John Sinden, Brant Jobe, and Andres Hansen. There is definitely a lot of sports going on. That was the PGA Championship. I've been asking a lot of people, which do you think, is it Tiger the most important story, or is it something else that's going on in the PGA Championship? Clearly, Tiger's the most important story. He finished with 13 over par. He missed the cut by 12 strokes. It's not 12 strokes. I meant 9 strokes. Which is, I'm not sure how many strokes, but I know it was some embarrassing amount of strokes. I believe he finished 13 over par through 2 rounds. He missed the cut, which is very odd for Tiger, but of course Tiger's been struggling so far this season. He has only played, of course he was out for 3 months because of his left knee and his knee injury. He had I think a broken knee and a torn Achilles, something like that. And speaking of torn Achilles, we'll get to this. We'll make sure we'll talk about the story later. But I believe, I'm not sure if it's a torn Achilles. I think it's a torn Achilles. You can tell me in the comments if I'm saying this wrong. But Niall Davis, the Arkansas Razorback star halfback, is out for the season because of an injury. I believe it's a torn Achilles. But if it's not, you can just tell me in the comments if it is or not a torn Achilles. So, yeah, now back to the PGA Championship. Yeah, Tiger Woods really has messed up. His old caddy Steve Williams, as they won 13 majors together and 72 total tournaments together. They split up, and then Steve Williams went with Adam Scott, who won last week in Tiger's return tournament. And now Adam Scott is just, I believe, 3 shots back at the PGA Championship. So, so things are going Steve Williams' way, but clearly not going Tiger's way. Now let's go to the NCAA football. Let's go to the NCAA football, but before that, we will stop for this commercial break here on the Daniel Black Radio Show on DCB Radio, presented by the Commercial You Guarantee.
The power of Viagra.
Yes, welcome back to the Daniel Black Radio Show presented by Viagra. So let's talk about the Texas A&M story, as it is official. They are headed to the Southeastern Conference, where there will not be 12 teams in the Southeastern Conference. There will be 13 teams, including Texas A&M. Joe Schad of ESPN.com really wrote a great report. If you want to see that report, it'll be a link to it in the description below. Texas A&M is intending to move to the SEC, Southeastern Conference, and intends to play until in 2012 because about a couple more weeks until the college football season starts. It's a little too little time to start playing and get everything. And also, there are some more teams that could, not official yet, but could go to the Southeastern Conference. One team is from the same conference that Texas A&M was in, the Big 12. That's Missouri. And the other two are from the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. That is Florida State and Clemson. Those three teams could go to the Southeastern Conference too, as well with Texas A&M. This is the second time this year that Texas A&M has had intent on going into the Southeastern Conference. And it's definitely a big story. It's been going on basically all day in the sports world. And it's very big. And I've been talking about this, if none of Missouri, Florida State, or Clemson come in, and Texas A&M literally just comes in, because I think it is official, they'll come in. That means there'll be 13 teams in the Southeastern Conference, so that means there'll be one division with 7 teams and another division with 6 teams. That's unfair. But I think that if they would put Texas A&M in a conference, it would be the SEC East, because the SEC East is weaker than the SEC West. I bet if the SEC West could split from the Southeastern Conference and just be a conference itself, just the SEC West, a conference itself, they could probably win every single national championship. They could probably win every single national championship there is to have, because the SEC West, 5 of the 6 teams in the SEC West are in the top 20 in the top 20 in the US Today preseason polls going into the season. The only one team is not, that's Ole Miss, which isn't even in the top 25. The teams, there's a rising Mississippi State team that's 20th in the preseason poll. LSU, there's defending national champion Auburn. There's Alabama. There's Arkansas. But the thing I was talking about Arkansas is that they lost their star quarterback, Ryan Mallett. And they also, because of an injury, as I was talking about earlier in this show, their All-American running back, Niles Davis, is out for the season because of an injury. So if they would put Texas A&M in a division, it would clearly have to be the SEC East, because the SEC West, I bet if they could just to be one conference, they could be stronger than the SEC East. Because SEC West is definitely the strongest division in all of college football. No, there's no comparison. They are the best division in the college football. The SEC West. And, but if they do have those additional 3 teams coming into the Southeastern Conference, I think to give the SEC East a chance, the teams that they would want to put in the SEC East are Texas A&M and Florida State. I think they should put, if those other 3 teams are coming in, I think the 2 teams they should put in the SEC East are Texas A&M and Florida State, to give the SEC East 2 good teams, 2 really good teams. In the SEC West, they would put in Missouri and Clemson. I'm not saying that Missouri and Clemson aren't good. They're just not as good as Florida State and Texas A&M. The thing that would shock me is if they put Texas A&M and Florida State in the SEC West. That would give SEC West so much strong. That would just blow me away, because the SEC West has already too many good teams. Also, I think a pretty good match for the SEC East is Missouri and Florida State. or Clemson and Florida State. I mean, either one, I mean, it's a very confusing matter. But Mike Slive, who's the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, if he has a reason why he would want to put Texas A&M, Missouri, Florida State, and Clemson in the Southeastern Conference, it's because because he wants to win more national championships. Because right now, the Southeastern Conference has 12 teams, and overall in the Southeastern Conference. If they would put these extra 4 teams in, they would give them 16 teams. And that would give them definitely more firepower, because all 4 teams that they could put in are amazing teams. And still, they could easily win national championships. And, I mean, the Southeastern Conference, even without those 4 teams, have already won the last 5 national championships. 2006 with Florida, 2007 with LSU, 2008 with Florida, 2009 with Alabama, and 2010 with Auburn. The Southeastern Conference, even without Texas A&M, Missouri, Florida State, and Clemson, has won the last 5 national championships. So the fact that Mike Slive would want to put more teams in the SEC for more national championships would surprise me, yet not surprise me. Because the reason why it would surprise me is because the Southeastern Conference has so much dominance in the past. But also another reason is that Florida is starting to lose power. Ole Miss is starting to lose power. Kentucky, in my opinion, is starting to lose power. Tennessee is definitely going low. So, I mean, and if they would put Clemson, Texas A&M, Florida State, and Missouri in the Southeastern Conference, that could definitely give them more national championships. And I think those 2 reasons are the reasons why Mike Slive, the commissioners of the Southeastern Conference, would put those 4 teams in the Southeastern Conference. So, yeah, so that is the topic for today, and I make sure to keep to date with this channel, the DCB Radio, and of course go to my main channel, which is in the description below, MSU Bandan. And yeah, so for me, Daniel Black, for the Daniel Black Radio Show here on DCB Radio, I'm Daniel Black. So long until next week. I'm Daniel Black. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Daniel Black Radio Show.